Thank you for staying with us. Now, the BRICS nations are offering Africa economic rebalancing through industrialization, integration, and diversified trade. These benefits include new funding sources, regional cooperation, and technology transfers. Despite benefits, Africa faces unfavorable trade deals, over-reliance on BRICS, and environmental concern from resource exploitation. Now, these are just concerns, but ultimately, what tangible long-term economic benefits will Africa realistically derive from BRICS membership, and how will it balance the benefits with the challenges? Now, joining me on the conversation to discuss this is Dr. David Matanga. He's an African Affairs Analyst from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Hello, Dr. Matanga. Thank you so much for joining us at this time.
Thank you very much. All our viewers across the globe watching us right now, thank you very much for inviting me.
All right, now let's start with you, giving us your view on Africa gaining popularity, with the BRICS. Go ahead.
First of all, it was one of the best miracles that have happened to make sure that we balance the world. A dollar has been a dominant factor in every business sector in the world. Anything that you want to talk, you must have a dollar. Anything that you want to do, you must have a dollar. And as such, it has grown what we call the American supremacy. And for now, when you have another balancing act of the BRICS and the nations, third world countries, plus those middle class countries, then join hands with China, Russia, India, Brazil, and others in South Africa. That is a balancing act for the world, that if you are not happy with your trading in dollar, you can go this side. Africa must always strive to look forward, not look left, not right, look forward and make sure that we bring every benefit of new dispensation that is coming in the terms of BRICS to our African people.
All right. Now,
so I am
speaking of benefits. Now, BRICS nations invested $151 billion in Africa between 2005 and 2020. Now, which African countries would you say attracted the most investment?
I think South Africa, a bit of some East African states, a West African state, Nigeria benefited some, and but mainly the South African states, some of them have benefited quite a lot from the BRICS. And the phenomenon is just new in our countries, like my country, Uganda. I think we benefited some money. In Kenya, they haven't adapted to the situation properly. Tanzania seems to have moved together along with Uganda and the other states. Rwanda, they seem to be moving towards Zimbabwe. All those are the countries in Africa that have had some contact with the BRICS. So with the new membership and the new openings and the new consolidation, where India, China, Brazil, Russia, South Africa, Nigeria, and other countries, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the Gulf states, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, people are saying, okay, we might have a good chance here to compete favorably on the continent of Africa and in the world.
Okay. Now, still speaking of what we stand to gain, Africa's GDP is projected to grow 3.9% annually through 2025. How will BRICS investment and membership boost this growth and also amplify Africa's global economic voice?
We shall have alternatives for loans. We don't have alternatives. Where do you go? You have only IMF, World Bank, who come into your country and tell you what you should do to your fellow citizens, reduce them, sack teachers, sack police, sack the army, sack the civil servants. That type of structuring an economy which causes more conflicts on the African continent. That is why you see Africa will benefit alternative ways of borrowing. Interest rates will be low interest rates in BRICS as compared to IMF, which gives those bigger countries, developed countries, different rates. Look at Egypt. Egypt has been struggling to pay IMF since, I think, since I was born. It has been paying IMF money. It can't finish payments. World Bank is always around there waiting for interest, collecting every type of money that an African country picks from its people taxation. So this is a good alternative venture for Africa and for the people of Africa to look at alternatives. Ethiopia, South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, and Uganda, Kenya. These are countries that can now borrow money from a cheaper place compared to IMF.
All right. Now, earlier you did talk about, developing some of our sectors. Now, what sectors, talking about manufacturing, agriculture, services will benefit most from BRICS funding and also its expertise? What particular sectors would benefit?
The hospitals, roads, infrastructure mainly. I think most of the people in Africa, we need infrastructure. We need power sectors for example, Nigeria needs a lot of power. You have about 241 waterfalls. You need clean water. You need climate change, money for climate change, to preserve climate, ecosystems. Those are the sectors that are going to benefit. Education is very important. Financing in that industrial production, more industries, exploration of more minerals. What are the minerals? And creating markets, housing, for example, in Africa is very, very important for our people. People sleep in slums. After 67 years of independence, where Ghana got independence, we still have people sleeping in slums across Africa. So this money should be utilized. But as you know, the previous speaker on this conversation from Nigeria was telling you the bottlenecks of what makes Africa not move from one place to the other without hiccups. Corruption. We have a lot of corruption. In fact, some of the countries in Africa, you can cry about corruption. You borrow this money from hardworking people in China, but you come and spend it on a few people and your families. So this is something that Africa must get rid of if you are going to have infrastructure, the roads, networks, the power stations, build more power stations, because those are the power. Without power and infrastructure, you can't develop an economy.
All right. Now, South Africa, was one of the African countries that joined the BRICS. Now, how effective is their role as a gateway for BRICS' investment into Africa?
It is a good venture that South Africa took to join BRICS, and it is spearheading, and I encourage President Ramaphosa not to drop out, not to be threatened by IMF, World Bank, or Americans. Let's go that way. Let's try and find out. But one of the problems, the problems that face Africa, that make us look like we have nothing, yet we have plenty, is that we are not united, my sister. We are not united on this continent to speak from one voice. Two, we have a culture where we have planted violence amongst our governance. Every place you look at in Africa is almost jeering for violence because of borrowing wrong structures or governance. So South Africa is a model in that its governance system allows investment. Its governance system allows reasoning. It allows elections without killing one another. Most of the African countries, apart from 4, the rest, if there is an election, there must be dead bodies on the streets of Maputo. For example, right now in Mozambique, across down here, people are fighting on the streets because of elections. So Africa must change. South Africa has opened the gateway. Why? Stability at home is more important. It makes you have a good foreign policy. South Africa's elections were in May. Do you hear people going to petition? In our own countries, yours and mine, people are still petitioning about the elections that were in 2018, and yet the president has retired. So if we are not united, we might squander the chances of the gateway that had been opened by South Africa. Let's change our models. Let's look at our corruption indexes are growing high, and let's be careful not to be trapped into another neo-colonial system of us failing to pay these debts. And then when you fail to pay debts, a country comes to occupy your airport.
Oh, okay. So, Dr. Matsanga, now one of the benefits of joining the BRICS is it has to do with aside funding sources, regional cooperation, technology transfer is actually one of it. And according to to Google and the IFC, Africa's digital economy could reach $180 billion by 2025. Now, how will BRICS, or how will their expertise enhance Africa's tech sector?
We must begin by allowing trade-free channels, remove custom barriers. In fact, the African Union has been singing about custom barriers. Unite ECOWAS, for example. Products from ECOWAS should be exported as ECOWAS, and the market will be bigger where you are selling flowers as ECOWAS flowers. But the problem we have right now is we sell these commodities like Ugandan commodity, like Nigerian flowers. You don't sell them as ECOWAS. East African, we must begin integrating. Integration will give us the best chances of being on top of this infrastructure, digital marketing that is coming in 2025, that we can tap as East African community with a population of 600 million, 300 million. Nigeria has a population of 220. If you add the other countries in West Africa and then you export goods as ECOWAS goods, like a European Union does, remove barriers of taxation, customs, visa restrictions, Africa will reach there. If we do that and have unity, we shall reach there.
All right, speaking of restrictions, now during the BRICS summit, the BRICS actually added, officially expanded its alliance, adding 13 new partners, that's nations as partner countries, within the BRICS, and Nigeria is actually one of them as well. Now, a lot of people are actually excited at the fact that this might mean the end of dollarization, but are we going to see a pushback?
Yes, we are going to be, America never sleeps, my sister. America never sleeps. It can even tell you it is not working. It is not working. It is working for peace process in the Middle East, for example. But then you see tomorrow, it sends arms to one of the member states fighting in the Middle East. Then you see tomorrow, they say Ukraine, get more the best ballistic missiles, send them to Ukraine to destroy Russia. Why can't we first of all go back to the United Nations Security Council and see how much Africa has suffered as a result of actions of America? The pullback could be America will come back with blackmail, and let African countries like Nigeria, Uganda, and others that attended the BRICS expect blackmail from America, sanctions from America. I'm fighting sanctions against Zimbabwe. I've taken my fight against sanctions. How can you put sanctions on a country for 24 years? 24 years. People have died. Children with treatable diseases have died. We have lost over 20,000 people in 24 years. Children, we have lost them. They have died because of sanctions in some of African countries like Zimbabwe. So I've taken my case. I've taken my case to the African, to the International Court of Justice to see, to bring America on table. We want to bring America in court. You can't threaten America by arms. We don't have the arms. We don't have the guns to fight them. But you can bring them to answer for some of the actions. How do you target countries, put sanctions, blackmail them because they have been meeting Russia?
I really asked that because according to reports, the IMF chief, after that payment system was actually showcased during the summit, the IMF chief is actually seeking more details on this particular BRICS payment system plan. That was the reason why I asked if we should expect pushbacks. We also know that no doubt it's actually going to affect a lot of people, a lot of countries.
Yes. Yeah, who is IMF, my sister? IMF is America. Have you ever seen who gives the IMF money? It's America. World Bank is America. We are just subjects. So why he's asking is that they have now got confused. They are cornered. A new system has come in place that will give cheaper loans, to countries. Therefore, there is that danger of them wanting to know how will this work. And very soon you will see countries in Africa blackmailed by saying, if you don't support us, we shall cut off our loan. We shall not give you we want you to restructure more if you are going that side. If you are borrowing money from Russia, we don't want to deal with you. Those talks are going to come. If you are borrowing money from BRICS, we are not dealing with you because Russia is under sanctions. Iran is under sanctions. Another India is under sanctions. Another country, Brazil, is under sanctions. All those sanctions are used by America to destroy most of the African countries. And therefore, there's myself, I've taken the case to the floor of 13 judges. I want them to tell me what is the benefit of one nation targeting smaller countries with sanctions for almost 24 years and so many other countries. I believe Nigeria is on the target now that it has shown its face in BRICS, in Russia. They will soon target Nigeria and try to find out why did you go there? Because Nigeria is manned by two companies of Shell BP and Total Oil. That's it. That's why they are there. And when Mr. Dangote comes in with Shell BP, they fight him. They even tried to frustrate him very badly. It's Total Oil behind all these maneuvers to frustrate our African people. So that type of a frustration is like equivalent to the type of frustration that IMF and the World Bank will be doing after realizing the BRICS has worked.
Okay. Well, just before we wrap up, Mr. Matanga, briefly, can you tell us what strategic approaches, Africa should adopt to maximize BRICS benefits, also while maintaining diverse geopolitical ties?
Forward, look forward, don't look left or right. You see, Africa must be non-aligned. Non-aligned. If you come, we also have resources. We have minerals. We have lots of things that America does not have. For example, we have sunshine. We have animals in parks. Mara Safari Park in Kenya, Kruger Park, Old Serengeti Park in Tanzania. America does not have those things. So we level them and also stand and say, if you do this, we can do this. Let's go back to that. Tell the American and IMF and the World Bank, we are looking forward. We are not looking left or right. No, we are looking forward. We want to go forward all the time. And we want to forward to create an environment, an economic change, an emancipation of our economies cannot depend only on IMF that has enslaved us, that has put us under a key and a lock, that if you don't use a dollar in the world, then you have nothing. We all grow, we all go to our banks. In Nigeria, you go to the bank, you want dollar. You even want to stand there for 10 hours. Why don't we have an alternative that can give you the currency that you can be able to move. Strategically, let's put ourselves for very big fight ahead that could cause us a lot of troubles, a lot of coups. Military coups could come because some people could say, oh, because you went that side, I don't like you. They undermine you, they create chaos, they create violence in your states, and African leaders, above all, should fight corruption so that these BRICS can work efficiently.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Matanga, for joining us and taking time out of your busy schedule to speak to us on this.
Thank you very much. All the time, on every Friday, I think we better make it. Every Friday when you are there, I'm always available.
No problem, sir. Thank you.